Brad, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So you were at the RSA Cybersecurity Conference this week, Brad, in San Francisco. It has been, a subject I know for you of great interest and great passion. Maybe frame this issue for those listening. How serious is the threat to American businesses from cybersecurity attacks, and why is it getting worse?
I think it's a serious problem for businesses in this country and indeed around the world. In part, it's a reflection of the increasingly ubiquitous nature of computing. We have computers in our pocket called a phone. We have laptops. Increasingly, we have these small devices, toys, thermostats, refrigerators, that are all going to have computerized chips. They're all going to be connected to the internet. We simply have to continue to take new steps to ensure that all of this is secure.
And this new accord, Brad, that you signed, so it's more than 30 companies. It's obviously Microsoft, Oracle, Cisco, Facebook. How are these new principles that you've all pledged to going to help improve the safety, the security of cyberspace?
I think it helps us first identify how we're going to conduct ourselves and work with each other. I think it is important for companies to be principled in this space. And we've said we'll be guided by two principles. One is that we will protect our customers everywhere and invest in increasingly defensive capabilities for them. And the other is we won't help criminals or governments attack innocent citizens or enterprises anywhere. And then it describes how we'll do that we'll partner more with each other, we'll invest in the entire ecosystem with partners and customers.
Now, besides the new tech accord, Brad, I did want to touch on this new platform, Azure Sphere, which is sort of a bundle. It's a specialized chip, it's an operating system, it's services that monitor these security threats. Walk me just behind the business model of Azure Sphere. How is Microsoft going to make money from this?
Well, first of all, it's a very large total addressable market. We're talking about this year 9 billion of these microcontroller units being shipped in toys, refrigerators, thermostats, all kinds of devices. They're all going to be connected. What we have done is designed a complete solution. I think it's the only complete solution that is going to be available on the market. And by that I mean it has a stronger chip with security in the hardware itself. It has a new custom operating system that has been created to add to that security, and it's all going to be managed by a cloud service so that we can then upgrade that over time. We won't make a lot of money on each chip with this service, but with 9 billion new chips every year, there's a lot of opportunity.
And let me switch gears a bit here today, Brad. I want to get your thoughts on this. Today, the Supreme Court dismissed this privacy fight between Microsoft and the DOJ. The issue there was, could prosecutors compel companies to turn over this data overseas? Congress passes the Cloud Act, really resolves that fight. What does the Cloud Act mean for Microsoft and the broader cloud industry?
I think it means two things. First, it means those of us who are in the cloud service business have the rights under this law and even more in the future to step in to protect our customers. If our customers live in a foreign country, if that foreign country has a law that's designed to protect their privacy in a certain way, we can go to a U.S. court to uphold that. But second, it also creates a new foundation for law enforcement to work effectively across borders pursuant to international treaties. And that is fundamentally what we have been driving towards for a number of years. We need new international agreements that both enable law enforcement to keep the public safe and that protect people's privacy rights.
Sticking in D.C., Brad, I'd love to get your take on this. The Trump administration is obviously taking a harder line on China. They're concerned about what they see as these forced tech transfers, the outright IP theft. Are you confident, are you positive in the outcome of the Trump administration's approach to those problems?
Well, I don't think anybody ever has a crystal ball about anything, especially when you're talking about the world of politics. I think our point of view is when these kinds of trade tensions arise, the best thing that can happen is for countries to get together and resolve them as quickly and fairly as possible. I do think that there are aspects of the Chinese market where the U.S. industry would like to have more access to the market. For that matter, I think there's parts of the U.S. market where Chinese technology companies feel that they don't always have the same opportunities. I think the world will benefit and technology will benefit if the U.S. and China can come to a strong agreement.
Last question here, Brad. Obviously, we've been covering Facebook hard here, the data debacle there, and then the possible implications. I want to get your take on policy here. Should the government, in your opinion, really limit tech companies' ability to compile these huge data sets on people?
Well, the first thing I would say is we called for national comprehensive privacy legislation as a company We did that in 2005. So we've been in a different place than a lot of the tech sector. We think you do need good rules, laws in place to retain consumers' trust and confidence. I think we have entered a new world. There are new questions. I suspect we're entering a time with artificial intelligence and the like where we sort of have 5 years ahead of us to figure out what the real issues are and how we should grapple with them. And this is going to be something that the US government's going to focus on, the European Union's going to focus on. And for those of us in the tech sector, I think we'll benefit from, let me just say, being broad-minded, thinking about not only what will serve us well, but what will serve the public well, because we need that kind of strong equilibrium.
And you mentioned the Europeans. Do you think that should be the model? They have their new set of privacy controls. Is that the right model for the U.S.?
I think that the Europeans have, in fact, created the de facto model for the world simply because it takes so much engineering work, by and large, to implement it. So most companies are, I believe, going to be complying with European law, even in the United States, at least on most issues. But I think even in Europe, people are recognizing that really puts an end to sort of one chapter of privacy protection. It's a new era with artificial intelligence. There are new questions. There will probably be new laws and regulations in Europe as we look to the decade ahead.
Brad, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.